Hi, Queens. Sam here. I hope that you're doing amazing. Day 26 of the 1330. We are getting there. We are getting there. And I wanted to talk about building wealth as a single person today. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I realize in the circles that I'm part of when we talk about financial independence slash financial freedom, there are people who are already financially free or financial independent. And when I look at them, the majority of them are couples either with no kids or couples with kids, but the kids are grown, so they had their kids younger in the early 20s. And that made me really ponder and be like, okay, well, can I still build wealth, as a single person? And in my case, as a single person with no kids. I know the answer to this is, of course, yes. But still, that really made me wanted to know, are there things that I should be doing? Because clearly at this point you can see, when you have a couple versus a single, it's not the same dynamic, right? In a couple, for a couple, you have two income. For a single person, you have one income. The expenses can be shared, for couple, and the expenses are just, for that single person. And so I was just like, okay, let me look into it and be like, what can I do that maybe I'm not doing right now, which can really help me to make sure that I get as close as possible to financial dependence or financial freedom. And so being close by as I am right now definitely helps. So we're just talking about what do I need to do, for the next 4 or 5 years to really make my goal of financial independence slash financial freedom happen. And I got into a whole rabbit hole, of course, and here on YouTube, and I came across a great video made by CNBC, Make It, about like I think 2 or 3 months ago. And the title of the video is Why Being Single is Expensive in the US. It's a short video, 12 minutes. I'll put a link to that video in the description, below mine here. And I'll strongly suggest that you guys check it out because I feel like, there were great information there and really helping to realize, the new world that we are living in, where today you have 50% of the people who are couple married and you have 50% of the people who are single. But the reality is, this world, at least in North America, is not made for single people. That's what it is. Listen, let's say the things the way it is. It is not made for single people. Even when you look at the taxes, the tax laws, they're not made for single people because as couples, I'm going to talk about it from a Canadian perspective because I'm in Canada. You can do so many things when it comes to your taxes, income splitting, when it comes to your pension. You can split your income as well with your spouse. There are so many tax breaks that you can have as a couple, as a married couple. And if you have kids, even better, you can go and get more tax breaks, by being a couple with kids, than, a couple with no kids, and definitely even more than being single. So if you're a single person, you don't have access to all of those tax breaks. You just don't have access to it. And if you guys remember, I made a video here on why I'm not planning on delaying my CPP, which is the equivalent of the Social Security for you guys down in the US. And one of the reasons was just that, because if, of course, there's quite a long time for me to start collecting my CPP, but I was just saying, if I had to make the decision as of now, I will not be delaying my CPP. And one of the reasons is because currently I'm single. So really, if something was to happen, I don't have any spouse who can actually get my CPP, which was what would happen if I was in a relationship. So you have that advantage when you're like in a relationship, like a couple and married, that your partner can actually get your benefit if you were to pass. But when you're a single person, you don't have that advantage. So then, if you have kids, there is a child benefit, but it's so low. It's honestly so nominal. And if you don't have kids, then that's it. It just stops there. The buck stops there. Everything that you have contributed to CPP, your entire years of working, nobody's gonna get it. It's not something you can put in your will. It's not part of your estate. That's it. That's it. Right. So again, the way it is, the economy is done right now. It's really patriarchal. It's for couples with kids. Those are the one who are going to be getting the most tax breaks, the most advantage, and and that's it, because that's the way things were in majority, 100 years ago. But things have changed, so it'll be good. If there is any uh, decision maker who happens to actually watch my video, it will be good maybe to actually look into it and see what can be done also for single people, because nobody wants to be getting into a relationship that doesn't serve them just because they're going to be getting some nice tax breaks. And unfortunately, there are people staying in relationships today that are not serving them because of the advantages that truly you have by being in a relationship and couple. Like I say, dual income, you get to share the expenses, you get to have a lot of tax breaks. So there is clearly an advantage, but hopefully people don't get to stay in relationship with that. Though I know that people actually do that. So end of the rant. But today, what I wanted to share with you are quickly 3 ways that I do believe single people can leverage to build wealth. Is it going to be very difficult for you to build wealth compared to a couple? Yes. Is it going to require more work, more flexibility, and more patience? Yes, that's just that's just what it is. However, when I'm going to go through those ways, you need to keep in mind that by being single, you get to make all the decisions yourself. So that could be good, that could be wrong. But I'm hoping that, knowing that you are the one making the decision will really help you to be a good steward of your money, of your personal life, and anything that would literally impact you building wealth. So the first thing is essentially when it comes to building wealth that I do believe that single people can leverage is when it comes to your housing. And I also did share here on 3 ways that you can leverage to reduce your housing cost. When you are in a relationship, it's more difficult for you to do house hacking. Very difficult if your partner is not on board. It's hard to sell them the fact that you guys are gonna buy a house and then live in one room and then rent the other 2 rooms. Or it's much more difficult because you would tend to want to have something really for you guys, and especially if you have kids, it's like it's harder. But when you're a single person, then you can do house hacking. You can do all of those strategies that I shared in the video, and I'm gonna link it here for you guys to check it out as well. But you have that possibility of looking into ways to reduce your housing. And at the end of the day, the 3 main categories usually that are the ones that make people spend the most of their money is housing, transportation, and groceries. So if you look into those three, there are clearly ways for you as a single person to have some strategies to reduce your expenses, which may be difficult for a couple. So look at it as like, an opportunity for you to get creative and being able to be more flexible and do things that, maybe it would have been much harder to do. And if you guys do remember, the first person that I interviewed here is Evelyn. And she's single. She's a single person like me. And one, she did something that, I'm pretty sure if she was she was in a relationship, it would have been much harder for her, because within 2 years, she bought 2 properties in 2 different provinces. And right now she's living in a duplex, renting the other, in duplex, living in one unit and renting the other, Airbnb the other. But like, that change in her life quickly like that, if she was in a relationship, that could have been very hard, right? Because she has a job where she can live anywhere in Canada and work, but maybe her partner doesn't have that type of job, and it would have been much harder for them to do that kind of strategy within 2 years, buying 2 properties in 2 different provinces, 2 different cities, and having to move like that. But because she was on her own, she was quite nimble, and she was able to get that done and increase her real estate portfolio quickly that way, because she was by herself. And yes, I do realize also because she has a good salary. But the reason I'm sharing that with you is really to show you that as a single person, you can do there's certain things that you can do quickly when it comes to those 3 categories which would have been much harder if you were in a relationship. And so that's the first thing. The second thing, still in line with the first way, but the second thing is that the flexibility, right? So the flexibility in the sense that, and I mentioned that in the housing video as well, you can do geo arbitrage. What is happening right now, and even in that video where they'll talk about it, is that single people tend to be in areas where the cost of living is high. And that's for a reason, because if you're a single person, you want to be most likely in an urban center, right? To be close to amenities and museums and, being able maybe to not have a car and use the subway and the public transportation and whatnot. But usually those areas are the areas where it will be expensive. No, you don't have many single people in the suburbs. That doesn't really happen often. Most of the time, people who are in the suburbs are families with kids because they want the space and they want a bigger bang for the bucks. But single people, we tend to be in urban areas and we do pay a high price for that. So, as a single person, one thing you can consider is really to um, move into another city, maybe even a country, if your job allows it, to be able to reduce your cost of living. And you have that flexibility as a single person. You can make that decision and go right away quickly versus, maybe having to convince your partner. And, that might take a bit of time. So again, that's another way to say it as a positive thing, which to me, I don't think there's any negative positive. Things do happen. People are single, people are married. It's just the cycle of life. However, when you're a single person, being able to move your life quickly like that in eventually a lower cost of living area can help you reduce your cost and help you build the wealth quickly, right? Especially if you stay at the same income. Let's say if you have a job that allows you to do that, you're still collecting the high income, but now you're living in a lower cost of living area. So that gap is higher, is wider between your income and your expenses, and you get to save more, you get to invest more. Right. So that's the second way. And now the third way that I do believe, it's I guess like an advantage being single than being married, is that you can really shrug your shoulders of any, I guess like any social pressure, right? The whole discussion about should you buy, should you rent, I feel like married people, they get, or like people are in couple who are couple, they get that kind of pressure much more than single people. That's what I feel like. And at the end of the day, I still do not believe that the way to build wealth is exclusively by home, by actually buying a house. I do believe that you can still build the wealth and reach financial independence, financial freedom by renting. As a matter of fact, I know a couple of people in the financial independence, slash financial freedom circle that I'm in who are singles, no kids. They're making decent income and they are renting right now, and they are like within 3 to 5 years to reaching financial independence. And that is because they have been a good steward of their money. They have been making decisions by themselves for their own benefits, and as the guy mentioned in the video, the CNBC video as well, they, most of the time they're spending money on themselves, right? They don't have to buy gifts for like, loved one, for kids and whatnot. So they get to actually save in a way by not having to buy so many gifts. They have like a partner, they have like children, right? So that aspect is definitely a plus, and I think it's also something to keep in mind if you are a single person and you also want to you actually want to build wealth, is that the way is really being comfortable in the sense that you kind of like, I'm not gonna say shield away, but definitely I think you don't get that the social pressures as much, right? So you don't, if you're a single person, nobody's gonna come to you and be like, so when are you having kids, right? Knowing that kids do cost money, right? But if you are a married couple, chances are people will be asking, whether it's your family or whatnot, people will probably be asking. And so you automatically safe from all of those social pressure, which really actually may cost you money. So you get to really have your money and manage it the way you want. So to answer the question, can you build wealth if you are single? I do believe that you can. You can. However, it's going to request that you really focused on what you are doing, and that you, because nobody's gonna be there and telling you, oh, you're not doing this right. Let's try this. You get to make all the decisions, the good ones and the bad ones. So when it comes to wealth building, you definitely want to make sure that you're making more good decisions than bad ones. And one way to do that, especially if you're a single person, is to make sure that you're in communities of people doing the same thing. Doesn't have to be communities of single people, it can be communities of married people, because at the end of the day, you guys have the same goal and you can definitely learn from them, even if in terms of, maybe if they're talking about tax breaks that couple get, doesn't apply to you, there will always be something that you can learn from anyone regardless of their status. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments. I really wanted to come here and share that, because I was just like, listen, I'm not seeing that many single people being financially free and financially independent. Am I dreaming? I might be able to make this happen, but I know that I'll be able to make it happen. And if you're a single person, you're watching this video and you're having doubt, I tell you, you can make it happen as well. And hopefully the 3 ways that I shared here are helpful. And you can also check my other videos where I talk a little bit more on how to save money on housing, how to save money on groceries, and you can apply that. You can apply that, and I'm sure that you will be able to get there as well. In how many years it will take you, but I trust that you can actually make that happen. If you like the video today, make sure to give me a like, a nice thumbs up. Doesn't cost you nothing, so it's good for you building the wealth. Also, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel, and do share with any single person that you have in your life who's really wanting to build the wealth. I'll share that with them as well. And thank you for watching. Come back tomorrow. That'll be day 27. We're getting close. And then I'm gonna disappear from YouTube. Joke. But I'll probably gonna take a break. I think I need a break at this point, but I'll be there. Probably maybe in the community tab, mainly sharing things, even if I don't come out with the video. But it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Again, thank you for watching, and come back tomorrow for day 27. And until then, keep on building wealth. Bye.